Ladies and gentlemen, friends from all over the world, I am delighted to be here with you today. It is always a great honor to speak to people who are ready to grow, to change, and to conquer their future. Today, I want to talk about something that we all experience, yet very few of us truly understand: fear. Our topic today is simple but powerful. Face your fears. Fear is one of the oldest emotions in human history. It is natural, it is universal, and it is powerful. But here is the truth. Fear is also a liar. It tells us we are not good enough. It whispers in our ears that we will fail. It convinces us to give up before we even start. Today, I want to challenge you to think differently. I want to encourage you to face your fears, embrace them, and turn them into your greatest strength. Let me start with a story from my own life. Many people know me as the founder of Alibaba, one of the largest e-commerce platforms in the world. But what many people don't know is that before I started Alibaba, I faced rejection more times than I could count. I applied for jobs and got rejected over and over again. I remember applying for a job at KFC when they first came to my city. 24 people applied. 23 were accepted. I was the only one rejected. At that moment, I felt small. I felt like a failure. I went home and told my family. My father said, "Jack, maybe you should try something else, like cooking at home." I thought, "Thanks, Dad, but I already failed at getting a job at a restaurant. Cooking won't help." But I also realized something important. Rejection is not the end. It is just part of the journey. Each rejection, each failure taught me something. It taught me resilience. It taught me patience. And most importantly, it taught me to face my fears. Let me ask you a question. What are you afraid of? Are you afraid of failing? Are you afraid of being judged? Are you afraid of not being good enough? Or maybe you're afraid of opening your fridge at night and finding out that your favorite snack is gone. Whatever your fear is, I want you to know that it is normal to feel that way. But what matters is what you do next. Do you let fear stop you, or do you face it head on? Here's the funny thing about fear. It only has power if you let it. Imagine standing in front of a door. You are afraid to open it because you think there might be a monster behind it. But what if when you open the door, you find nothing but an empty room? Or maybe a cat. A very confused cat that looks at you like you're the crazy one. That is what fear is like most of the time. We build it up in our minds, we let it control us, but when we finally face it, we realize there was nothing to be afraid of in the first place. Now let's make this personal. Think about something you've been avoiding because of fear. Maybe it's a conversation you need to have with a friend or family member. Maybe it's a dream you've been putting off because you're scared of failing. Maybe it's going to the gym because you're afraid the treadmill might judge you. Whatever it is, I want you to write it down. Write down the thing you fear the most. Look at it. Acknowledge it. And now make a decision to face it. When I started Alibaba, I was terrified. I had no money, no experience, and no connections. All I had was a dream. And let me tell you, dreams are scary. They require you to step out of your comfort zone. They require you to risk failure. But they are also worth it. Today I look back and I'm grateful for every fear I faced because it brought me to where I am now. You see, fear can be your enemy or it can be your teacher. It can paralyze you or it can propel you forward. The choice is yours. But here's the secret. The more you face your fears, the less power they have over you. Fear is like a bully in school. At first it seems big and scary, but once you stand up to it, you realize it's just a kid with a bad haircut. Let me share another story with you. There was a young boy in my hometown who dreamed of becoming a musician. But he was afraid. He was afraid of performing in front of people, afraid of being laughed at. One day he decided to face his fear. He went to the town square with his guitar and started playing. At first people ignored him. One man even threw a tomato. But as he kept playing, more and more people gathered. By the end of the day, he had a crowd of people cheering for him. That young boy went on to become one of the most famous musicians in China. His name is Jay Chu. What if Jay Chu had let his fear stop him? What if he never picked up that guitar? The world would have missed out on his music. And that's the thing. When you let fear stop you, you rob the world of your gifts. You rob yourself of your potential. You also rob your future self of some really great stories to tell at parties. So how do we face our fears? Let me give you 3 practical steps. First, acknowledge your fear. Don't pretend it doesn't exist. Don't run away from it. Look it in the eye and say, I see you. By acknowledging your fear, you take away its power. Think of it as seeing your ex at a party. You don't need to run. Just say, hey, I see you. I'm over you. Second, take small steps. You don't have to conquer your fear all at once. Start small. If you're afraid of public speaking, start by speaking in front of a mirror. Then speak in front of a small group of friends. Gradually, you'll build your confidence. And if your friends laugh, just remind them that even the greatest comedians bombed their first few gigs. Third, celebrate your progress. Every time you face your fear, no matter how small, celebrate it. Give yourself credit for being brave. Fear will never completely go away, but you can learn to manage it and keep moving forward. Buy yourself a cupcake or two. You deserve it. Now, I want to talk about a different kind of fear, the fear of success. Yes, many people are afraid of success. They are afraid of what will happen if they achieve their dreams. They are afraid of the responsibility, the expectations, the pressure. But let me tell you, success is not something to be feared. It is something to be embraced. Success is the result of hard work, courage, and perseverance. And if you face your fears, success will follow. But let's be honest, success is also hilarious. I remember the first time someone called me a billionaire. I looked around and said, who? Me? Are you sure? Can I check my bank account first? The truth is, success will surprise you. It will make you laugh. And it will make you realize that all those fears you had were just part of the journey. I want to leave you with a final thought. Life is too short to be ruled by fear. The clock is ticking. Every second you spend being afraid is a second you could be spending chasing your dreams. Don't let fear rob you of your life. Face it, embrace it, conquer it. And remember, even if you fail, at least you'll have a funny story to tell. In conclusion, remember this. Fear is a natural part of life, but it doesn't have to control you. You have the power to face your fears, to overcome them, and to achieve greatness. I believe in you. I believe in your dreams. And I believe that you have what it takes to face anything that comes your way. Thank you for listening. Now go out there and face your fears. The world is waiting for you. And if you need a little extra motivation, just imagine me standing behind you saying, you can do it. Also, can you please open this jar for me? I'm afraid of pickles.